Hello and welcome to the conversation. You're with India Post Live. We're bringing you the latest news of what's happening as far as the exit polls are concerned for the 2014 general elections. Today, we are going to focus on the most populous state of this country, and that, of course, is Uttar Pradesh. It sends 80 members of parliament to the Lok Sabha, and, of course, plays a major role in which government or which party will form the government. And to discuss more on the chances and what exactly the exit polls, the results that they've thrown up, I have with me Mr. V.N. Rai, who retired as the top cop of Uttar Pradesh. Also, Mr. Vinod Agnihotri from Amar Ujala joining us. On Skype, we have Mr. Sharad Gupta from Dainik Bhaskar, who's traveled extensively in Uttar Pradesh. So, I'd like to start with you, Mr. Gupta. Can you hear me, sir?
Of course, I can hear you.
Sir, the sort of exit poll results that are coming for UP, I mean the least amount of seats that any exit poll is given is about 46. How far would you agree with them for BJP?
I think that's just fair enough. BJP, I feel, isn't going to go get less than 46.
Okay. Sir, can you just put the camera a bit lower so that we can see you properly? A bit, yeah,
I can't.
yes, a
Is
bit
it
more
okay
lower, sir.
now?
A bit more lower, sir. Lower,
Like,
lower, lower, sir. Towards you. Down, down.
just a sec. I'm not getting the window here.
Okay, we'll come to Mr. Gupta when he, sir, slightly lower, sir.
Like this.
No, no,
Like
the other way
this.
around, the other way around. More, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
You got it now. Is it okay now?
Uh, okay, sir. Sir, we'll come to you till you fix your frame. I'll go to the guests in the studio.
Yeah, sure,
Uh,
sure.
Vinod, sir, starting with you. Least seats 46 for BJP. How far would you go with it?
As for my assessment, because I am from UP and I know UP, BJP may get around 40 to 45 seats. This is my assessment. Because if there is a wave, the so-called wave predicted by the exit polls, one Chanakya today has given the 70 seats, 70 plus seats,
Yeah.
plus minus one. In past, on 1977, Janata Party got all 85 seats with the United UP, Uttar Pradesh, and in 84, Congress got 83 seats. That was the, I think, highest tally. And at that time, there was no sharp caste and communal polarization politics in the UP. Now, today in UP, there is a Mulayam Singh, Mayawati, BSP, and Samajwadi Party. They have their vote bank, vote share. And Congress, if any exit poll gives 70 seats, it means ki you are finishing Mulayam Singh Yadav, you are finishing Mayawati and Congress. So I don't buy these results. For my assessment, it's 40 to 45 seats, maximum.
Coming to that point, Mr. Rai, I mean,
For BJP.
SP, BSP are, they are local heavyweights. If you don't, I mean, you look at the kind of seats they've been given. Maximum seats are 13 for BSP and for Samajwadi it's 12. So that forms about 25 seats. So you will have about, 55 seats more or less going to the BJP.
Then
No, but Congress is also there.
also there.
Yeah.
And last time Congress won 21 seats.
Yeah. I think I fully agree with Mr. Agnihotri that BJP will get, you can say, in between 40 and 45. And reasons are very clear. Somehow the last 2.5 years of Samajwadi Party government had been a total failure. Mismanagement, bad governance, casteism, corruption, criminalization. So they have lost sheen. And BSP's social engineering has been taken over by BJP. This time, BJP has done the finest type of social engineering, and all OBC other than Yadavas were with them. All SC other than Chamars mostly were with them. So they have played their cards very intelligently. But he is right, 40, 45 are also on the.
It's a good number.
Yeah, good number.
Yeah, I'll go to Mr. Sharad. Sir, here we seem to have some sort of unanimity as far as BJP seats go, about 40 to 45. Would you go with that figure for BJP in UP?
I feel 45 was a right number when I had not visited the state thoroughly. I started from Western UP and move up to Varanasi. I was in Varanasi for almost a week, and everywhere I could see this Modi wave cutting across communities, not exactly communities, but castes, all castes. They were voting for Modi. So they did not vote for BJP as per se. So in that sense, I can say there was a Modi wave, and if I go by that, I feel BJP is going to get not less than 45.
Okay, okay. So he's making a point that he saw a Modi wave there. Uh, I mean, I would beg to differ because I think it was an anti-Congress wave more than anything else that we saw.
That was anti-Congress wave, anti-UPA wave was converted into Modi wave,
Pro-Modi way.
pro-Modi wave by BJP very cleverly. As Mr. Rai has said, they have done very fine social engineering in UP and they tried in the Bihar also. You see, when BJP got more than 50 seats during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, there was a complete upper caste polarization was with BJP and non-Yadav OBC in the leadership under the leadership of Kalyan Singh. That Lodh, some part of Kurmis, Koiri, Mauryas, Rajbar, they sided with BJP. Then they got the maximum number, that was 58 plus 57 plus 2. 57 BJP, that was in 1998.
And then Ram
two,
Janmabhoomi
yeah,
thing was there.
the thing was
That
there, and
also-
two from Samta Party. At that time, UP was united. 17
seats.
seats from Uttarakhand. So that was the highest number tally in the BJP's history. This time, I agree with Sharad Gupta, there is a Modi factor in UP. I will not call it a wave, it is a factor. And that is why BJP has become, the BJP was won only 10 seats in last elections. Now BJP is contesting, BJP is in the fray in each and every seats, from Ghaziabad to Ghazipur, from Ghaziabad to Gorakhpur, everywhere, whether it is a two-party contest or multi-corner contest, BJP is in the fray. Because of this Modi factor, number one, because of the misrule of Samajwadi Party government, and because of the communal polarization due to Muzaffarnagar riots and many communal
incidents
small incidents in Bareilly and other, I think more than
Ayodhya,
a lot of
Ayodhya,
incidents have
Barabanki.
happened in this under the Akhilesh government. So slightly the communal tension. The communal polarization plus social engineering plus non-performance of Akhilesh government plus anti-UPA wave. The consolidation of these are four factors. They have converted a pro-Modi factor, pro-Modi wave, what you can call.
Asal very cleverly, this brand Modi was created. So you see the last 2.5 years, very cleverly and with very articulate, you can say, way, this brand Modi was created. And it was not BJP which was fighting, it was the Modi. I have seen many people, because I know one of the candidates, he is from my area, he is a criminal. Everybody was saying that, no, we can, initially people were against him, but gradually I found people talking that we are not voting for him. We are voting for Modi. We want Modi, to see Modi as the Prime Minister. So this has happened, mostly it was Modi brand which was working.
Okay. We also have senior journalist Darshan Desai joining us from Ahmedabad. Darshan, sir, thank you so much for joining us in the conversation. I'd like to bring you on, sir, to a minimum of 46 seats being given to BJP. We're discussing the BJP's prospects. What, according to you, do you think it was an anti-Congress wave, or is it a pro-Modi wave that's leading to BJP almost quadrupling its figures from 10 to 46 in these elections?
No, I like it's basically an strong anti-Congress wave, and Modi is riding that wave, and riding a wave or hijacking or capturing issues is Modi's specialty. It's his expertise. You know, 2004, everyone was saying India shining, India shining. All posters were saying India shining. It did not work out. Okay, the same thing is happening right now, but there is one difference. Is that there is a very anti-Congress sentiment. You know, 2004 it was not like that. The anti-Congress sentiment was not so huge, which it is now. You know, at 2004, 2009, the Congress capitalized on the fact that they have given this country Narega, they have given this country RTI, and now they have given this country Food Security Act. But all that is no longer working because of several other issues which go against the ruling party, against the ruling Congress. And Modi has hijacked and captured that issue very well, and it's his expertise. He has done some 500 rallies. I mean, whether you like it or not, you have to look at that man's stamina.
Sir, sir, I'd also like to ask you the fact that, we've seen the kind of politics that Narendra Modi has done in Gujarat. It's a highly polarized campaign whenever it happens in Gujarat. Do you think he's managed to actually replicate that sort of a campaign in Uttar Pradesh?
I'm not very sure whether he has been able to do it. Of course, they have done it in places like Muzaffarnagar, and Amit Shah has tried to do it in Azamgarh and other places. But UP is such a large state that you cannot. I mean, like unlike Gujarat, you cannot sweep the whole state with one क्या बोलते हैं, with one jadu, with one broom. So I don't think it's so easy in UP. So
Okay.
VN Rai would know better than me.
I have 2 points to make here,
Yeah.
if I'm allowed
Yes,
to.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead, Sharaji. Please.
One is, of, of course, I agree with Darshan that there was an anti-Congress wave, but the anti-Congress sentiments could have been exploited by regional parties, which was being thought about till about a year back, that there will be a third front and all that. But Modi, campaigning against Congress, established himself as the prima donna, that he is the first among the equals. So all anti-Congress votes veer towards Modi at the cost of the regional parties. Samajwadi Party and BSP are not going to get more than 10 or 15 seats. So it is only because of Modi. And second point is that people like Jagdambika Pal, who for 5 years they campaigned against Modi, and yet they are in a position to win
Yeah.
just because they're campaigning on Modi ticket and Modi campaigned for them. So
Okay.
it's just because of Modi that people are ready to forgive all sins.
Okay,
There
sir.
are not less than 15 to 20 candidates who were not a member of BJP till about 4 months back. They joined BJP. Some of them they got the ticket along with the membership. So, but they are in a position to win. Why
Okay.
and how? Just because of Modi.
Okay, sir. We'll
So
we'll
that's
also.
why I say
Okay.
that is why I say this is a Modi wave, and
Okay.
at the cost of regional parties.
Okay, so we'll have a look at this graphic on the Modi factor in UP. This is taking into account till the eighth phase. That is, I mean, leaving out one phase. So, uh, 64, whopping 64% say that they would anyways have voted for the BJP as a party, and there's about 17% voting because of Modi and 19 no opinion. So, Vinod sir, I mean, I'm also from UP. If
Yeah, I know.
I would have anyways voted for BJP. I mean, irrespective of Modi, I would tend to agree with this graphic. Would you agree with me?
No, I think there is no disagreement that Modi has what Modi did, the role of Modi. Which is 64%, they are voting for BJP, not for Modi. Irrespective of Modi, they are voting for BJP. But why they have decided to vote for BJP? It is because of Modi. The leadership of Modi, he has created a confidence among the BJP workers, among the BJP supporters, that they have a leader who can win the election. That is why they are voting for the BJP. That confidence was not in 2009 when Advani ji was declared as a prime minister candidate.
Yeah.
That is the role of Modi. And I think all of our panelists, no one is disagree. No, that Modi has not, Modi factor is there is no Modi factor. Everybody is agree. We have a common agreement.
Slightly disagree with this
Sir,
graphic because personally I feel that had there been no Modi, suppose you have declared Lal Krishna Advani as the leader or Murli Manohar Joshi as the leader, BJP would not have got more than 10 seats in Uttar Pradesh. They could not have increased it. It was a very pertinent thing which Darshan said, that a vacuum was created. People were against UPA too. Performance was bad, corruption, everything was there. So this vacuum could have been filled by the so-called third front. All
Even
the regional
Samajwadi Party could have
they
filled
could
it
have
up.
been.
No, they
very
tried it. Even there was a meeting of the third front leaders. Nitish,
But
Mulayam
for last
Singh,
2.5
they
years,
failed.
the brand Modi was created with so, say, a specific, clever and articulate way that void, that vacuum, could not be filled by a third front. Anyway, the Modi had to fill it, and Modi filled it.
Okay, Sharad sir, I'd like to come to you. I mean, is it more of Modi riding the wave, as Darshan says, or is it more of what we've seen, the failure of other regional parties and the Congress in UP? That's why BJP is doing so well.
No, the regional parties tried very hard. It's I won't agree with the thing that the regional parties vacated the space. Regional parties fought very hard. They fought on all 80 seats, both Samajwadi Party and BSP. They did not relent, and it was and one major thing, one major feature of this election. You'll be surprised to know when the results are out after 3 days, that for the first time during last 25 years, BSP voters have shifted. BSP supporters have deserted Mayawati. At least 15 to 20%, maybe even 25% of BSP voters, especially Dalits, they are voting for Modi this time. That's why I say Modi wave has cut across castes and even communities.
Okay, so that's an interesting point. But Mr. Rai, I mean, the non-Jatav SC vote, that has always been a floating vote. I mean, it went to the
No, but
Samajwadi.
initially, when BSP was created, it was a party for Bahujan Samaj. Not only non-Jata or non-Chamar SCs were with them, non-Yadav, including Yadavs also, lot of OBCs were there. But Kurmis were there. But because of this identity politics and because of their Brajan casteism, now they are left only with Chamars or Jatavs. They are solidly with them. But all other non-Chamar SCs or the same thing has happened with Mulayam Singh Yadav also. All other OBCs other than Yadav, now they are either with BJP or they may be termed as floating. They vote as per their convenience.
Okay, I'd like to bring in Darshan into this. Sir, what do you think are the reasons why we are seeing, both Samajwadi Party and the Bahujan Samaj Party, being sidelined or, being relegated to the second or distant second spot? Darshan sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, please tell me.
So why do you think both Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party have been relegated to a distant second place?
See, basically, both parties have lost the script. 2007, Mayawati won for the first time in 16 years. Mayawati, was the single party which ruled, which came to power in UP. Okay, right from day one, I remember Hazratganj is the main square of Lucknow. So there was a hoarding which said that Hathi chalega Delhi ki or. You have just won the assembly election. Okay. And now you are talking about Delhi. What Mayawati basically did was she abrogated her government to a select group of bureaucrats and ministers. Okay, and she was traveling across the country thinking that she is going to be the PM. So she lost the script. If she had, like Nitish Kumar, or like Narendra Modi, or like Shivraj Singh Chauhan, or like Raman Singh, if she had stuck in her corner and done some 2, 3 big initiatives in UP, it would have changed the fate of that state and the fate of her party. Okay, so she lost, and now that's exactly the same thing which Akhilesh Chauhan, I mean Akhilesh Yadav government is doing. You know, they also want the script. They are not initiating any big development programs in UP. If they had done it, all this Modi way would not have worked. UP functions differently. People in UP can see through bhashans. You know, they have a very good understanding of politics, unlike in Gujarat or unlike in several other industrially grown states.
Okay, so Vinod sir, coming to that point, I mean, do you think like in 2007 Mayawati got absolute majority, then same thing with Samajwadi Party? Do you think, I mean, the national aspirations, when you get into the national aspirations, you tend to somehow compromise on the regional aspirations, and that's what we are seeing why both parties have failed?
Actually, this election is for the Lok Sabha election. And in UP, when you talk to voters, what Sharad was saying, a major section of non-Jato Dalit Mayavati base is shifted towards BJP. What is the reason? Everybody is saying that Mayavati is not going to form the government. Mulayam Singh voters is saying Mulayam Singh is not going to form the government. Who is going to form the government? Either Congress or BJP. And there is a sentiment against the UP and Congress. Then what is the alternative? That is BJP and Narendra Modi. And the brand, what Rai Sahab has said, the brand Narendra Modi has created so strongly since not only since last month, since 5 years. Since after 2007 assembly elections, Narendra Modi has planned to create his brand. That was a long planning, and that works. So the problem is that when Mulayam Singh is not able to form the government in the center, Mayawati is not able to form the government at the center, and they are not going to become the prime minister, then their voter, there is a thought that why we should not test the BJP.
Yeah.
So that is the basic reason. The vote which is shifted towards BJP, because of this reason, they actually, the misrule of Akhilesh government, they have created an illusion among the upper caste of UP and the OBC vote कि Mulayam Singh and Akhilesh Yadav, they cannot function at the center. That is the basic problem. Why Yadav, even there are some news that some portion of Yadav, they have also shifted towards BJP.
My God.
This is a very significant factor. I was in Lucknow and I was going to Amethi for a coverage. My driver was Yadav. He was from Jaunpur, from Sultanpur. And I asked him, whom you voted for? He said, for Kamal. I said, why? Bola, Netaji is in Lucknow. And I have voted for Delhi.
Okay.
So if this idea has worked among the Yadavas,
That is of Netaji to make him prime minister
Yeah.
did not
they
convince
did not
people.
convince him.
So we're getting some tweets in.
Because they failed to form a third front, a alternative, clear-cut alternative.
We are getting some tweets also on this. You know, Murari Bhartiya goes on to say that I do agree. Modi way was all over India and most at Uttar Pradesh. And third_I has gone on to say that third_I has said that yes, his magic worked and BJP is getting a clean sweep in UP too. So I mean, a lot of people on Twitter also tend to agree that what Mr. Rai was saying.
But
that
still, I don't buy the tally of 70 seats.
70
Yes,
is
70.
too much. 70 is too much.
Okay,
Even
so
45 is not a small.
talking
number,
about, you know, I mean, Modi, I mean, the Modi magic work, let's say, in UP, but what about the Congress? I'd like to bring in Mr. Sharad on this. What do you see are the reasons for the Congress, you know, after a stellar performance of 22 seats, I mean, after Raj Babbar won the Firozabad seat, down to almost, you know, perhaps 7, 8. What do you think are the reasons for that?
Basic thing we have to understand, not this time, we have to understand why Congress won 23 or 24 seats last time. That was because Muslims had veered towards the Congress, mainly because Samajwadi Party had roped in Kalyan Singh, and Muslims could not, and this was not palatable to Muslims. That person who was responsible for demolition of Babri Masjid aligning with Mulayam Singh Yadav. So that's why they found an alternative in Congress. So they voted en masse to Congress in 2009 for parliamentary polls. But this time, Muslims had to decide that they wanted to vote for somebody who could defeat Modi. And this time they found different people from different parties in different constituencies. So there was no credible alternative to Modi in any, there was no single credible alternative to Modi in UP. So that's why in some places they voted for Samajwadi Party, in some places they voted for BSP, and in very few places they voted for Congress, and mainly Congress lost out because its poor performance in Delhi. That reflected very badly. The candidates were unable to defend the corruption charges and similar things. I can quote one instance. The Faizabad candidate, um, Nirmal Khatri, was
Yeah.
among the top 10 parliamentarians. His performance was rated among top 10 parliamentarians in Delhi. So when I asked him, how do you disown? How can you disown, or how are you fighting the taint charges? And he said, no, these charges are false, and these are being contested. People who have been accused, they are serving their sentence. They are being tried. And here I'm contesting on local issues, not mainly contesting from Ayodhya and Faizabad. Babri Masjid or Ram Janmabhoomi was not an issue this time. So
Okay.
it says a lot. It says a lot.
Okay, so we're just getting some news in that, going back to the exit polls, that the exit poll done for Times Now, I mean, the ORG is supposed to have done the exit poll. Now there is news coming that someone else, a bogus firm, has done the exit poll for Times Now, and we've seen people right from Rajdeep Sardesai to others talking about it. So, again, we've always known that, there has been a question mark on exit polls.
There
I mean,
was a sting operation on a channel regarding these exit polls and opinion polls.
And it means they are defensive because they have given the lowest number of seats to BJP.
Yeah,
Now
249.
they want to mend their
and
they want to improve their relationship. Otherwise, there is no point in at the 11th hour they are coming and telling that.
And before actual results have
yeah.
come.
Okay, I'd like to bring in Sharad sir. I mean, this sort of report coming in that ORG has not done the exit poll for Times Now. Some other bogus firm has done it. The whole question mark on exit polls. I mean, are we seeing a bigger question mark now?
This question mark is a question mark. So exit polls were not credible. Were never credible in last election, last election. They never proved to be on the spot. As Vinod was saying right now, that there have been a number of sting operations on firms conducting opinion polls and how they manipulate it, whether opinion polls or exit polls. All of them are manipulated according to the wishes of people who have hired these firms. So whoever pays, so they manipulate in their favor.
Okay,
Whether it's
if I can go to Darshan Desai, Darshan sir, you've seen many an exit poll happening, and you know how Narendra Modi functions. The point that Mr. Rai and Mr. Agnihotri are trying to make is that why is this information coming at the 11th hour? Are the channels now trying to strike some sort of a rapport or extend the olive branch to the new people, the powers to be that are going to take over? Darshan sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. I can hear you now.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I mean, there are reports coming in that the survey done on Times Now by ORG is actually being done by a bogus firm, and why are we seeing these things happen at the last moment?
What I think is, why do we talk about the bogus firm? Let us talk about the credible agencies. None of the agencies have ever been proved correct in any of the exit polls. I've seen it. 2004, they said India shining. Nothing happened. I myself did, you'll not believe, I myself did a survey of 200 people asking my relatives and all my friends whether they have ever been approached by any survey agency or by any surveyor for this, and I must have interviewed some 200 people. Okay, my friends, my relatives, their friends, their relatives. Nothing has ever been proved. And there is a huge commerce out here. Why can't we wait for the actual results to come? Why do we why don't we have a post poll survey? Why don't we have a vote share survey? Why don't we have a socio-economic survey? We don't have them because that doesn't earn you any money or TRPs. It's as simple as that. And why should we wait for, I mean, why can't we wait for the real thing to come out?
Okay, you
But
mean
that doesn't happen because it doesn't make money.
okay? So, anyways, we also have an exciting contest for you. It's an online poll called Hum Bole. If you're interested in the elections and you think you have the ability to do the number crunching and see which party, according to you, would form the next government, you can just log on to our site indiapostlive.com, fill in the details, and be a participant and give your views, your projections, become a poll pundit on your own. So that's Hum Bole for you. Sir, last comments. Just taking talking about talking about the exit polls. I mean, I think Darshan sir made it very clear why we're talking about bogus ones. But is there actually a need for exit polls?
No, just before few hours, I was with a TV channel, and my good friend journalist Urmilesh, he said it's a Chunavi Chakallas, nothing else, because something we have to do. It's a very, it's a human nature. We have a curiosity. What will going to happen on 16th? What will going to be happen on 16th? Who will form the government? Earlier, Jyotishis, you see, there are predictions on the Jyotish lines in the newspapers when there were no TV channels and no live
Yeah.
debates on the TV channels. There was a lot of stories on based on Jyotish predictions, Greh Nakshatra Chal, ye banenge, wo banenge. But now the exit polls and opinion polls, they have taken place of those predictions. So for me, it's Chunavi Chakallas, and
Yeah.
we should do it and we should enjoy it.
Sir, your take?
I think it is a good time pass. It makes it more spicy. But if it is fairly done, it may help the voter also. But unfortunately, our country has not witnessed a single fairly done exit poll. So he has very rightly said that it is a Chunavi Chakallas. For 2-3 days, the whole nation is passing
Totally
the time
absorbed
and
into
yeah,
this.
totally
Because
absorbed.
voting has ended on 12th of May, and result will come out on 16th.
16th.
For these 4 days, what we should do?
Sharad sir, your final comments on the exit polls and how, I mean, the days between the result comes and polling gets over, how we see the whole big tamasha of exit polls happening.
We don't need a exit poll, or rather even opinion polls. These tend to, not exit polls, but opinion polls do tend to guide voters to certain extent. So opinion polls and exit polls are futile exercise. They should be relied upon. They should not be telecast at all.
Okay.
Altogether, they should be done away with.
Okay. So I think on that note, I think there is a sort of consensus on exit polls. There you have it from our experts that as far as exit polls are concerned, they can just show you a trend, a sort of trend, an indicative trend of the way results are likely to be. But unfortunately, over the past 2-3 general elections, exit polls haven't been able to get it right, and news of bogus firms doing these exit polls just adds more to the melee that we see surrounding the exit polls. But on the whole, I think there is another consensus that BJP is going to be the front runner in as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned. 40 to 45 seats, that's what our guest panel says. We'll just have to wait and see how many seats they will get eventually. Will they reach the 70 figure mark as Chanakya has said, or will they stick to the sort of figure that our experts are giving? Anyways, the conversations will keep continuing. You can also join in and participate by logging on to indiapostlive.com, or you can send us your tweets at the rate indiapostlive, and conversations will continue. Thank you so much for watching.